Ready? She's alive!
How your RPMs look?
Not bad.
Is that the normal idle range?
Yeah.
Hey, kill it.
Alright, so here we are. I'm tight. I'm getting the bolts in for the front clip, front air dam, bumper, whatever you want to call it. I'm getting those buttoned up. We just got the cowl and the hood on. I didn't get it on video because I'm now working. I'm back at work, so I'm finishing the car up after work. Didn't have my my camera charged up and ready to go, so that's my bad. But anyway, all I did, I have a couple of videos of, my buddy's gonna send me over. So we started the car, no check engine light, nothing like that. I did get a little bit of smoke. And so we shut it off, within like a minute of me starting the car. Had a couple of fuel leaks on the rail and stuff, just because when I got the radium rail, it didn't come with O-rings for these two fittings. And there's really no instructions on how the actual application of the fuel rail goes on the car. It talks about the manifold spacer and all that, but really how you're going to run your fuel is depending on what you're running. So I'm running an inline system from my fuel surge tank to my fuel rail, back to my high pressure fuel pump, down to my OEM fuel rail and injector. So that's how I'm running it. Anyways, I knew when I was putting this thing together that I figured there needed to be O-rings on there. There was none in the kit. The bottom plug right here, there's a bottom plug right here for a different setup, probably STIs or something like that, I'm not sure. Anyway, that had an O-ring on it, but it wasn't in the instructions, so I pasted it up with some of that thread paste. That shit is fucking garbage. I'm gonna throw it out there right now. Maybe I had the wrong shit, I don't know. Somebody said that when you get some of this high pressure paste, that it needs to have constant pressure to keep a seal. Anyways, I started squirting leaks everywhere. The engine was running fine, started squirting fuel leaks everywhere. So the couple of places that I did use this paste, because I didn't use anything on these fittings. These things tightened down and plenty of threads, and they torqued down really well. But whenever you put it on a component like the fuel rail or the surge tank and stuff, I did use some of this. They all started leaking. I should have just used yellow Teflon tape. That's what I've always used. But everybody said, hey, these pastes are the new hotness, so I tried it out. It's not for me. I might have done it wrong. That's perfectly fine. If I did it wrong, then no big deal. But right now I have Teflon tape on everything. Everything is holding up fine. I have adjusted the fuel surge tank to 75 PSI now. Again, I had to change the Teflon tape on the elbow in the channel that's on the gas tank filler neck. So that was a lot of fun because that was a bitch to install. So that sucks that I had to do that, but I pulled it down, cleaned it up, Teflon taped it, put it back up there. So I basically installed that part twice. Teflon taped the fuel pressure gauge on the fuel surge tank itself. And as you can see, here's where I was leaking, but this is bone dry now. We've ran it for a half hour. Everything is bone dry. I Teflon taped right behind here, and I also put an O-ring on there just for safekeeping. But yeah, so everything is up, pressure's up. I wonder if it's still showing the right pressure. No, pressure's back down, I guess only when it's running. Anyway, so no more fuel leaks. I just ran it for 30 minutes, got it up to temperature, no check engine light. Anytime I've started this car, no check engine light. Engine is bone dry. No fuel leaks, no coolant leaks, nothing. We torqued everything to spec according to the manual, which you guys will all see in the videos. It's beautiful right now. Keep my fingers crossed, everything is running real good. I'm currently draining my first break-in fluid because it's been ran for 30 minutes, cooled, ran for 30 minutes, cooled. So now I'm going to put the next set of break-in fluid in it and the next filter. I'm going to check this oil out here in a minute. Like I said, right now I'm buttoning up the front end, and yeah, and then I'll start it up and I'll have a full rotation with the next break-in set, 30 minutes, let it cool, and then I'm gonna be done for the night. And then tomorrow I'm going to Ford down in Fort Walton Beach so I can get this hub nut on here, put this hub nut in, torque down both hub nuts, and then I'll be able to start it up, run it for 30 minutes, and then take it for a couple of slow pulls. Alex from Panda told me to go out and do 2 or 3 second gear pulls from about 2,000 to 5,000, nice and slow, just going up the rev limiter, letting it off, not going into clutch, so going up to 5,000 and then letting it decelerate as well. So I'll do that, and then I'll drain it, and I'll put the actual 5W50 in there. I got the kit from Panda. The kit from Panda came with 2 break-in fluid series and 1 actual engine oil series, so that's what I have left of it. So that's what I'm gonna be doing next. Now, one thing that did happen when I started the car is it started giving me indicators. It said all-wheel drive off, drive mode selection disabled, or unable to, I can't remember the exact verbiage, and hill assist disabled. I got with my tuner at Panda, let him know that, hey, things are kind of acting a little finicky internal in the car. No check engine light, but a little finicky on the controls. He said it might be my main fuse in my fuse box. Sounds like it's not seated correctly. So I'm going to disconnect the battery before I do my next run. I'm going to disconnect the battery. I'm going to just make sure that stuff's all seated well. Close it back up, start it back up. If that doesn't work, then I'm going to reload the tune, reflash the tune, and see if that changes anything. The swap took a little longer than I anticipated. I was trying to get it done in 7 days. It is now day 11. It's just for anybody who is interested in doing this and trying to think of a timeline. Again, I did a lot of stuff, I didn't do just the short block. I did short block, aux fuel, fuel surge tank, clutch, old oil catch can, intercooler, which I hadn't even really looked at yet with this thing on there yet. But oh yeah, see that RS right there? That's pretty neat. I did that. No big deal. Looks pretty good. Matches my snorkel pretty well. So that's pretty cool. Oh, one more. Right here. Now let me talk real quick about the smoke. So we started it up. It's probably going to be I'll probably drop a clip of it in here if I have the video of the smoke, but it'll be in another video as well. Anyways, it started smoking. So we shut it off. Did a look around like, hey, yo, what's going on? Can't hear nothing, can't see nothing, nothing's dripping. Wondering what the heck's going on. So I started it up again, and this time I kept the clutch pushed in, so I kept the clutch disengaged. The clutch pedal was in the whole time. Let it run for about a minute, minute and a half, until it idled down. No smoke, so I let the clutch out. And when I did that, that's when after about 10 or 15 seconds, it started smoking. So I was like, well, it's got to be the clutch. And I thought that possibly I hadn't bled the system properly. So I went and I actually spent the money on an actual brake bleeding kit. And even though in the manual it says to push the fluid into it, if you don't know it, there's that hydraulic fitting on the trying to think of the name of what it is right now. I'll tell you, there is a hydraulic fitting on the release bearing. I was gonna say throw out, but release bearing. So there's a release bearing that comes with the ACT clutch, and I thought maybe it's disengaging. That release bearing is bringing the clutch back, but maybe there's a little bit in the lines. So whenever I release the clutch, to actually engage it, maybe there's not quite enough pressure to push it in there. So I went through that process. I bled it, got some new DOT4, did it up, started it again, and started smoking again. But again, I didn't hear any rattle. I didn't hear anything. There's no leaking. There's no nothing. So I was like, maybe there's just some buildup on the freaking, maybe I didn't clean it well enough, because it does come with a shipping compound on it. I called ACT, let them know, and I didn't talk to a tech. I talked to I think a sales guy who went and talked to a tech and came back and told me, and he was like, no man, there's nothing in that clutch that should be smoking, dude. It sounds like it could be your transmission or something like that. And I'm like, there's no evidence of the transmission leaking. There's no evidence of the rear main seal leaking, nothing like that. So I let it go. I let it kind of smoke for about 60 seconds, and then it stopped. Smoking stopped. Once again, no sounds, no nothing like that. Clutch is fine. So I think I was just burning off some of the compound, and I hope that didn't affect anything on the flywheel or anything like that. We'll find out as time goes by. But anyway, so I had a little smoke, no big deal. Other than that, that's all I've ran into. Again, no check engine lights. Everything looks good. I'm buttoning up this front end. I'll quit talking right now, button this thing up, and continue moving on. All right, car's done with its second 30-minute break-in. Now it's time to take it for the run. I'm gonna get inside so you guys can hear me. All right, so now I'm inside the car. You guys can hear me a little better. It's on its second batch of break-in fluid. I just double tapped the fuel surge tank. It's at 75 pounds. Everything's tightened down. I could definitely initially feel the difference of the CPE stage 2 rear motor mount. I can definitely tell that. Let's go ahead and couple of pulls from 1,000 RPM to 5,000, and then just let off the gas just to break the motor in. So I'm gonna take it very easy. Got to get used to this clutch still. So I'm gonna do a couple of runs on it, and then we'll bring it back. So get a little bit of space here, and I should be able to slowly here in a minute. Had a really awesome exhaust rattle there. That was pretty neat. Oh, great. Speed bumps. I would turn down the one street with speed bumps, wouldn't I? Perfect. Everything seems to feel pretty good. The the RPMs are a little higher than normally used to. Usually it idles around 850. Right now it's idling about 1100. I'm not sure if that is a thing for my tuner. I'll hit them up and let them know. And if it's not something for my tuner, then I'll arrange to. I'm not going over that speed bump. I'm just gonna back this thing up. Engine break-in, and I'm getting it on video so everybody can see. And I've got some nasty smoke coming out of the exhaust here, so that's not very good. Oh no, I don't have a check engine light, but boy, I got some nasty looking smoke coming out of the exhaust. significantly louder. And right now I'm running strictly just wastegate on the turbo. There's no auxiliary fuel going through, so this thing is it's definitely a much meatier sound too. It's quite impressive. Sounds really good. So there it is. There's the break-in. Still getting used to this clutch, so anybody who's making fun of my driving right now, kiss my ass.